President Trump breaking records, important records, at our southern border. Since Inauguration Day, the administration has deported over 515,000 illegal aliens. 1.6 million have self-deported, and 485,000 have been arrested. Now, that's a stunning 180 from the previous administration, who flat out denied a crisis and promoted open borders. But it's clear Americans have had enough. A new poll shows 40% of U.S. adults think all illegal immigrants should be deported, regardless of whether or not they have committed crimes other than illegal immigration. Now, 40%, according to many polls, is low on the number of Americans that actually want to enforce our laws against illegal immigration. But this comes as the White House is also looking to reform U.S. asylum system. It's an important milestone, and we've seen a high price tag to migrants and asylum seekers in other parts of the world. Case in point, the Netherlands. 2016 data shows that while migrants arriving from countries like the United States, UK, and Japan brought in more money than they took out, asylum seekers from, for example, the Middle East and Africa are costing Dutch taxpayers more than 400,000 euros over the course of their lifetimes. It matters, as it turns out, from where, from whom. And they're having that play out before their very eyes in Ireland. There, citizens are revolting after an asylum seeker was accused of sexually assaulting a young 10-year-old girl. We're going to get to that story and have more on that a little later here on the Will Cain Show. But it does offer us the question, what is the cost of not just illegal, but legal migration here at home? Well, for Democrats, that's the hill they're going to die on when it comes to the government shutdown.
Ours was a clean CR. We call theirs a dirty CR, and you all know why. Because they added $1.5 trillion in new spending that would be a mandate, including hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars for health care for illegal aliens.
On day 22, and no end in sight. But some Democrats are finally starting to say the quiet part out loud.
Shutdowns are terrible, and of course there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously, but it is one of the few leverage times we have.
Your suffering is leverage. That's what you just heard from a Democrat. And leverage for what? Leverage in service of what cost to the American taxpayer? Increasingly, the answer on that cost and in service of what is people who are not from America. Now, why would Democrats be seeking to serve not the people that vote for them, nor the people that pay taxes, nor the people truly invested in the project that is America? Why would they be seeking to help others? Well, part of that is because they're serving the radical end of their party. According to The Hill, a second person familiar with the political dynamics within the Senate Democrat caucus said centrist senators are fearful of breaking with leaders while party activists are planning anti-Trump rallies. We would have enough votes to reopen the government if people were not terrified of getting the guillotine. The guillotine. What is this? The French Revolution? Are far-left activists like AOC the Jacobins? And that's who Democrats are running in fear of? AOC, the guillotine, the Jacobins, if you do not vote and serve those who are not yet and may never will be, at least in culture, Americans? Democrats fight hard, they say, for health care, but it's the health care for illegal immigrants, and that comes at a real cost to actual Americans. The Wall Street Journal points out that the insurance coverage plans for family plans has soared to $27,000 annually. That's what you're paying, and that's a 6% increase from just last year. But that's not the focus. Bringing down those costs, that's not the focus of the left. No, subsidizing health care in the same way they've done a college education is their focus, and that is only and always driven prices up.
The Democratic solutions have never been to directly provide. It's always been a subsidy to a middleman. But what happens is when the government promises endless funds to insurance companies or private universities without any cost controls. And Trump seems to understand this. Prices rise far beyond the rate of inflation. Will Democrats recognize the poison pill that they've often placed into well-intentioned policy?
Right.
Well-intentioned policies, regardless of how it's intentioned, it's poison. It's poison to us, not just to our healthcare system, but it's poison to the United States of America to constantly serve people who are not Americans. And here's yet one more example, something we've talked about quite often together, and that's illegal immigrants behind the wheel, often behind a commercial truck. Last week, an illegal immigrant was driving a semi-truck, allegedly crossed into oncoming traffic and killed a 54-year-old man. The suspect was driving without a valid CDL. He was using a suspended commercial driver's license that belonged to a family member, and his company wasn't even registered with the Department of Transportation.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News Patriot today. Click join to find out how.